as soon as you decide to make a drastic shift and change in your life, you're gonna feel motivated. You know how people get, you're gonna feel motivated, you're gonna feel excited, you're gonna make that shift, you're gonna see the signs, like the literal signs within your life of what you're trying to pull towards your, manifestation. When I say manifestation, I mean the way of like how you're thinking about your life and what you deserve in life, and you're pulling that towards you. You're gonna see evidence of that. But then somewhere along the way, as you're experiencing and seeing those signs, you're gonna see signs and experiences for the exact opposite of what you're trying to attract. And I'm here to say, don't let that discourage you and don't get off the path. Because what most people do is they'll be going good, they'll see the signs of the change and what they want to see in life, and then all of a sudden the universe throws a curveball, and all that is life testing you and showing you and seeing if you're really holding strong to your conviction. We all get it. I get it all the time, whether you're trying to pursue a relationship, whether you're trying to pursue a job, whether you're trying to pursue any kind of endeavor in your life. You're going to see positive signs at the beginning, especially a lot of positive signs, but especially when you have an old identity of not identifying with something that you want out of life, and in the old way of looking at the world, as far as, say, maybe in the past you thought you didn't deserve to be loved, but you made that mental switch, and now you've met someone, you're pulling them towards you, but then all of a sudden a week later something weird kind of happens, like, the person says they might move or this or that. But instead of emotionally reacting to this, what you have to do is stay strong in your self-concept of yourself and keep your energy right. Because at the end of the day, if you can stay in that positive, affluent, self-love energy, you're going to see, in almost like a flip of a coin, this circumstance change the other way. And this happened to me multiple times in life, where there'll be instances where, I'm striving for something in my life. I'm getting close to that goal, that thing, that attribute. Maybe a customer will cancel here or cancel there. But instead of emotionally reacting, understanding how abundant the earth is in the universe, understanding that if something didn't work out for me, then something else would work out, I always see it come back. There's a customer who canceled a job. I was like pulling up my Yelp, because sometimes I pick up customers on Yelp most of the time. And for my home service business, the customer canceled and archived the lead. So I was like, okay, so I just archived it. They didn't want to do the job. And then I get a message or a call and a message saying, hey, I don't know what happened. Yelp had somehow put my job in the cancel list, and it canceled on me. I was like, oh, no, it's okay. And then we ended up scheduling. Long story short, what I'm saying is, in me archiving it myself, I didn't get out of the state of, okay, another job will, replace this one. It's no big deal. I didn't get emotionally like, oh, well, that's money, they're gone down the drain, I'm not going to get, or anything. I didn't shift. I tried to remain in the state of the version of myself that I'm achieving to be. Not even achieving to be, because you don't want to achieve to be something that you're being today. You got to remain in that state. That's the key. And life is going to throw things at you that are going to try to pull you out of that state. And the key is to remain in the state. You want to remain in that frequency and vibration of someone who's already at the finish line. You want to operate from the finish line. At the finish line of your goal, if I want to be a 7-figure, business owner yearly, I need to operate from that frequency, and at that frequency, a 7-figure business owner is not going to front over losing one job. So, and you can take that example and run with it with whatever you're applying in your life. You're trying to get a relationship. The first person that you approach and ask out on a date, if they deny you, the version of yourself who's going to find the love of their life is not going to be discouraged because one person said no, and then they're going to go their whole life just never talking to anyone again. So basically what I'm saying is, as we're going and walking through this path of life, life is constantly and always going to be shifting, but the shifts are to the aspect of how we're feeling inside. Truly. The shifts are only a reflection of how we're thinking on a constant basis. So the key here is to, no matter what the world is reflecting outwardly, because those are some patterns of old shifts, old versions of yourself, to remain in the version of yourself that you want to see and want to be. And sooner enough, and sooner or later, because we can do that instantly, reality just has to catch up to how you're shifted your internal state. Because all the world is your internal state being reflected outward. Back when I used to smoke a lot of weed and all that shit, that kind of lifestyle, altering my mind and, doing drugs and stuff, whatever, drinking a lot. In moderation, these things aren't bad, but I do think there's an effect to those substances, but that's a whole nother topic. The world was different. I would look at people differently, I'd look at cops differently. I would look at just other young people differently as I'm walking on the streets. It literally changed my perspective of how I viewed the world. And until I shifted that internal state, got sober, and this is unknowingly, the world was a lot lighter. It wasn't as dark. The same goes with what kind of music you listen to. The same thing is the case. It's like you listen to the kind of music that's, foreshadowing just wickedness throughout the world and, yada, yada, yada. That's what the world gonna reflect back. So hence goes the saying, when you peer into the darkness peers back. The same goes for the light. If you peer into the light is gonna peer back. So yeah, guys, just keep that in mind. Like if you're wondering why you're living and experiencing the world and you're like questioning what is this existence, why me, even if you're going through a bad circumstance, you almost gotta kind of ignore it, because you can choose how you experience life. You could be being bullied every day right now and choose to not, which is hard when you go through some tough stuff, but choose to focus on the positive things in your life, and soon the universe will rearrange. They will move, you will move, something will happen, and it will bring a reality into fruition that reflects your internal state. It's all about your internal state, guys. We are literally a walking universe. We are literally God's vessel. We are God experiencing the world around us. So you can change your reality, because we're experiencing the earth, which is already created in these infinite realities. And within that, you can dial into the one that benefits you for the most and for the best, for your betterment of life. Yeah. I think we're gonna end it there, because I have my phone on this tripod. I don't know if you guys can tell, but it's raining a lot and I don't have an umbrella. But I wanted to make a video, and it feels good out here, but yeah, this is crazy. So we're gonna end it there. Peace.